I'm building my own music production PC. I'll show you everything I put into this custom PC and how well it performs in a music studio setup. And maybe I'll do a little gaming on it as well. Now, this video is not meant to be a build it like me type of video, but I will share all the components I use, so if you want to build your own, and I'll share my real world tests of how it performed with music production, my DAW, plugins, and even gaming. Now, I'm building this PC for several reasons. I feature a lot of software and plugins on my channel, and I've never had a PC to test them on. Every now and then I get a comment from one of you asking about PC performance or compatibility, and now I'll have a PC to test it on. I also want to test something else. Audio plugins that run on the graphics card. GPU Audio is a company building audio plugins that run on a graphics card inside a computer instead of the CPU. This should allow us to run many more plugins or much more advanced plugins without running out of CPU power. We're going to test that later in this video. If you want to try out the free GPU Audio plugins, I'll put a link to them in the description below. Oh, this case that you saw me unbox is the Thermaltake View 200 case. Thermaltake cases are pretty standard, easy to find, reasonably priced, and I really like this white color, so I'm going to try to make the other things on the desktop white as well. This is the ASUS ProArt B550 motherboard. It's actually a generation old, but it's a proven workhorse, good for photo editing, video editing, so it should be good for music production too. Thunderbolt is incorporated into this motherboard, which will make running Thunderbolt devices more stable. The processor I got is a Ryzen 5950. It's a 16-core processor. This is the entry level to the Ryzen 9. You can go for a 7 and save about $250 and still be fine. The number of cores impacts the number of plugins you can run at once. Of course, we're going to try to run GPU Audio plugins on the graphics card later as well. We'll see how that goes. For RAM, I'm using the G.Skill Trident Neo series. This is 64 gigabytes of RAM. G.Skill offers a good value too, fast timing, lower latency. AMD processors are better with lower latency RAM. For the SSD, I've chosen a Samsung 990 Pro series. This is a Gen 4 and does 2 gigabytes per lane and connects by 4. So 8 gigabytes theoretical, max throughput. It's got a high read-write speed, and this should make loading sample virtual instruments pretty fast. Now, I wanted to keep this PC build at a reasonable price, but still good enough for gaming. So this is neither the most budget PC nor the most tricked out PC you could build. But with the components I've chosen, I'm hoping this will be excellent for music production and good enough for gaming. This is the Noctua NH-U12A CPU cooler. It's massive. I don't think it's even gonna fit in here. This is one of the quietest performing coolers on the market, and that's gonna be really important for studio recording, right? I've heard that it performs as well as an all-in-one water-cooled setup. The noise level is 22.6 decibels. Hey, I turned this into a claw machine. Here you go. So, you know, the first PC I ever purchased for music production was actually from Circuit City. If anyone remembers Circuit City.
Push it, click it, press it, click it, tune it in, turn it on. This is what you watch it on. Any way you work it, integrate your circuit at the city. Circuit City.
It was an IBM, and I was running Logic back when it was with eMagic. If you remember Logic back when it was with eMagic, hit the like button. Next up is the power supply. This is the Thermaltake 850 watt power supply. It's probably more than this computer needs, but it kind of leaves room for upgrading later. Now here's what's even crazier. When I first got started with music production, that was on a 4-track tape recorder, which my band rented. It just had 4 tracks on it, so we could only record 4 tracks. We'd have to bounce to do more than that. Let's talk about the video card. The main processor doesn't have an integrated GPU, so GPU Audio sent me the NVIDIA 3080. You can actually buy any GPU for music production. Even older ones may be fine. NVIDIA is the king of graphics cards, so we should have excellent graphics on this. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, hit the subscribe button, and you can support my work here by getting one of my virtual instruments or sample packs that could inspire your next song. A link to my shop and free downloads is below. All right, we're just gonna power on this thing and hopefully it works. Everything is set. Hey! Here it is, the final build. I want to share some tests I did with this PC with my DAW, plugins, GPU audio, and even gaming. But before I do, let's build a little studio. I've put together a small setup using some white gear to match the white case I chose for this PC. The keyboard and mouse are by Logitech. This is the Logitech MX Keys Mini, the same keyboard I use every day at my usual studio desk. I've paired it with the Logitech Lift mouse, which I've always wanted to try, and I have to say feels more comfortable because of its vertical orientation. The monitor is by Samsung, and it's probably the first thing I'm going to upgrade. Given the gaming performance, which we'll look at in a second, I could really go with a much more premium monitor, but this was very inexpensive and still looks pleasant. For the studio gear, I chose the Arturia Mini Fuse for the interface and the Mini Lab for my keyboard. Both great devices for home music production, but more importantly, they come in white. The speakers are by Kali Audio. These are the IN5 studio monitors by Kali, and they're an excellent bang for your buck for your studio. Definitely loud enough for this setup and very nice for mixing. The headphones are by Audio-Technica. These are the M20X headphones, which have great sound for the price. The white is the Bluetooth version. The desk itself is a 55-inch folding desk by Need. It's $150, and I've used it time and time again for many videos. Definitely got my money's worth with it, but I'd recommend getting the 62-inch version to add a bit more space for your setup. All right, so how does the PC perform? The startup is very fast thanks to the SSD. I loaded up Ableton Live, and it was really hard to push it to its limits. I'm running Ableton Live version 11 Suite. I loaded native instruments, Ashlight and Kontakt, Omnisphere, some Arturia instruments, and it performed with zero lag. I mean, the CPU usage is very low. Next, just to test it out, I added 60 Kontakt instruments and played them together, and I was able to stay below the overload threshold in Ableton Live. Pretty good. This PC is doing really well. Let's try some more effects from GPU audio, and we'll monitor the GPU usage. Remember, these are special plugins that use your graphics card instead of your CPU, so you can use many more plugins or more complex plugins without running out of CPU power. I even added GPU audio plugins to the project that has 60 Kontakt instruments, and GPU audio plugins kept going, and the graphics card handled all the processing. No added strain on the CPU. GPU audio plugins will work with most DAWs, and their plugin suite is coming to Apple very soon. You can download their beta suite of plugins for free right now. They've got some effects plugins now, and they're coming out with a GPU-powered synth later this year. GPU Audio is also partnering with Vienna Symphonic Library for a new plugin to be released. MIR Pro 3D will feature GPU acceleration, and it's going to be the first of many to adopt this type of technology. When you download their free plugins, you'll get 50 impulse responses free as well. You can find all their free stuff on their downloads page. I'll add a link below. So how about gaming? I ran the benchmark setup on Forza Horizon 5. The setup identified my best settings as extreme. So yeah, this can handle some pretty intense gaming. But I think, again, my weakest link in this setup is the monitor. A 4K monitor capable of 120 frames per second would be ideal. So how about fan noise? There are several fans in this build, including the front ones, the CPU fan, the graphics card fan, and there's one in the power supply as well. Running Ableton Live, the fans were pretty low in volume. I used the Decibel X app on my iPhone and measured an increase of about 10 decibels of fan noise compared to silence when running Ableton Live with a moderately sized project and a bunch of effects. With this setup, I can also control the fan speed if I need real silence. Keep in mind, placement of your PC will also impact noise. I'm very happy with the noise level and extremely happy with the performance. In fact, when it comes to performance, this PC gets close to my MacBook M1 Max computer. While my Mac was faster with several tests I ran, overall, I'm very happy with the new PC I built. So how much did this custom PC build cost? At the time of this posting, the total price is $1,400 without the NVIDIA 3080 graphics card. With it, the price would currently be around $2,130. But of course, you can spend a lot less on a graphics card and still have an excellent music production PC. Now, the price of these components change frequently, so check the links below for the current prices. What would I recommend? You don't need the NVIDIA 3080 in your setup. You can use the GPU audio plugins with other graphics cards. In fact, you can download their free plugins and try them with your current setup as well. So there you go, that's my PC build. I'll be using this in more videos, so you'll see it in action a lot more on my channel. I've linked all the parts I used for this build in the video description below. Now that we have a PC, how do you build a music studio at home? Watch my most popular video next on how to build a studio at home. Everything you need to start making music. Thanks to GPU Audio for providing the video card and those free plugins. I'll see you soon for another video on home music production. Until then, keep making the music you love. Bye.